What's up? What's up? We are live. Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, just type yes in the chat box so that I can see that that everyone can hear me. Can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, just type yes in the chat box. And if you can share this to 5 Facebook groups, I'll pick one lucky winner to give away a free prize. Okay. So JD Foxx is gonna come on very soon. And who can hear me? If you can hear me, type yes in the chat box. Let me see your comments. Let me see your comments on Facebook. Let me see your comments on YouTube. And yeah, okay. Can everyone just type your comments for me? Okay. So for those of you who are here, I want you to share this to 5 Facebook groups. Okay. And then after that, after you've shared with 5 Facebook groups, I want you to just comment share in the comments. Okay. And then I'll pick one lucky winner to give a bonus. Okay, so once you've shared with 5 Facebook groups, type share, and then I'm gonna and then JD Foxx is gonna come in very shortly. JD Foxx is my $100 million mentor, and all of you are gonna get so much of value from learning from him. Okay, is there echo? Okay, okay, good. So okay, just share with as many people as you can first. There's echo, right? Okay, I'm gonna take my mic so that it will be better. Okay, let me just play a countdown. In the meantime, I'm gonna share to the different groups first. Okay? Okay, is the sound better? I've put on my earphones. Is the sound better? If the sound's better, type better in the chat so that I can see is it better to have earphones on or not on. Okay. Okay, can everyone just share this with 5 Facebook groups? And then if you want, you can subscribe to my channel as well, my YouTube channel, my Facebook. Those of you who are watching the replay, do share this with 5 groups as well. Yeah, okay. So can everyone do that? Once you've done, okay, if you can hear me, type yes. If you have shared, type share. Okay. So yeah. All right. Okay. So later on, I'm gonna ask JT Foxx and his team to come live, and in the meantime, I'm gonna share with you like a quick story of how I know JT and everything. Okay. So my first time knowing JT was when I was 18 years old, and my mom signed up for his seminar so she could bring a guest for free, and so my mom brought me to attend the seminar for free. Okay. And I remember that was my first business seminar I've ever attended in my entire life. Okay. And at the point of time, JT positioned himself like JT was known as the world's #1 wealth coach. And so I went for the seminar, and I completely had no business experience or anything. And I used to think that business was super hard. Okay, I used to think that wow, it's not easy to start business, especially when I learned when I went to business school, and then I learned so many different things about business, about economics, and I was like, wow, there's so many things to learn. I was like, okay, business is actually something really hard. Okay, but after I went for the seminar, right, then I realized, then I felt like, well, actually, he made it sound so easy to do. And so after that, my mom signed up for another program with JT called Dream Team, where we had to fly all the way to Vietnam, Hanoi, to attend a 4-day course called Dream Team. Okay. And if you include the air ticket, if you include the hotels and everything, right, you add together, everything's about $10,000 for 2 of us to fly to Hanoi. Okay. And most people say, wow, why would you spend $2,000 to attend a seminar? Isn't it a little bit expensive? But it was not expensive to me, because at the point of time when I spent when we spent that 10,000 plus Sing dollars, right? When I came back to Singapore, I started my first business. Okay, my first business was my healthy food delivery business. So from the skill sets and strategies that I learned from JT Foxx's coaches, right? I came back and I learned how to run a business. So my first business, my healthy food delivery business, right? I had over 10,300 employees. Sorry. I work with DBS. Okay, I work with DBS. I had no employees. I was just me and my partner. Okay, I work with DBS Bank, and they sent an email to 10,300 of their employees to advertise for my healthy food delivery business. Okay, and how I did that was through joint ventures and certain strategies that I learned in Dream Team. Okay, my second business was so because of going for that seminar, I started 5 different businesses, and I've never lost money in any of the businesses I've done before. and I wouldn't say all are super successful, but multiple six figures or even seven figures definitely have. Okay, so my second business was a entrepreneurship platform where I built a sales team of about 140 people in 10 months. My third business was a sales and marketing agency where I helped businesses increase their sales and all that. My fourth business was a six-figure e-commerce business selling cosmetics, and my fifth business is a coaching and seminar business. I started that with zero capital. Right now, we did more than $1.2 million in sales in 18 months, and we got over 1,200 paid clients. Okay, and all that was because of attending. I mean, there are many factors, many reasons, but I would say that JT Foxx is one of the big reasons why um we are here. Okay, so um let me yeah. So and I remember there's one time, right, I saw a Facebook ad by JT Foxx saying that he was gonna do a free training to train people on how to become a speaker. Okay, and since young, right, since I was like 10 years old, I wanted to be a speaker when I grew up. Okay, I told myself when I grew up, right, I'm gonna be a speaker, and I wanted to be a world class speaker. So there was one time, right, when I saw that Facebook ad by JT Foxx, right, something me just resonated with me. Something just knew that if I went for this training, right, my life will change. Okay, so, but the training that he was going to do was going to be conducted all the way in Australia. Now, most people think, hey, I'm in Singapore. Who the hell will go all the way to Australia to attend a free seminar? Okay, but here's what I did. The moment I saw that Facebook ad, okay, the next day I booked an air ticket from 12 midnight. I flew all the way to Australia at 5 a.m. Okay, 5 a.m. reached Australia, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. was the seminar, and then 10 p.m. I flew all the way back to Singapore. Okay, which means I flew all the way to Australia, 5 hours there, and 5 hours back. I didn't even book a hotel. I didn't even bring any clothes. I just brought a small little suitcase. 5 hours there, 5 hours back, just to attend a one-day free seminar by JT Foxx. Is that pretty crazy? If that's pretty crazy, type crazy in the chat. Is that pretty crazy? Flying all the way there just to attend a free seminar. Most people free seminar they don't even attend. Is that crazy? If that's crazy, type crazy in the chat. Okay? Okay, you all can hear me, right? If you can hear me, yeah. So you're not really responding. Maybe there's a lag time. There's a lag time. Okay, if that's crazy, type crazy in the chat. Okay, and write this down that crazy people make crazy income because I said yes. Okay, everyone please write this down. One yes can change your life. One yes can change your life. Now, because I said yes to the opportunity, after that, when I came back to Singapore, right, at every single seminar that I did, right, I'll make $4,000 to $12,000 at every single 3-hour seminar that I did because of the skill sets and the strategies that I learned from JT Foxx. So was it worth it for me to go all the way to Australia to learn this skill set? I think it's pretty worth it. Okay, and right now, I've partnered up with JT to do a few to do some projects together, and then we're just gonna start small, and then we'll eventually as this relationship deepens, we can do more business projects together. Okay, so how many of you would be keen to learn from or even partner up if you ever have this opportunity to partner up with JT? Okay, how many of you will be keen to learn from or partner up with JT? If you'll be keen, type keen. Yeah, type keen in the chat. How many of you will be keen? Let me see. Okay. Okay, if you're keen, type keen in the chat. Okay, so okay, I'm just gonna invite JT to come up soon. Okay, I think how many of you keen? If you're keen, type me, okay, or keen in the chat. So okay, so okay, so I want everyone to go to this link, ALARIC.SITE/JT. So in a moment, I'm gonna ask JT to come up, come on, okay. And in the meantime, I just want everyone to go to ALARIC.SITE/JT. And basically, when you go there, you'll see an application form, or like you see a form to let us know about your business, so that um we can tailor the presentation based on what business you're doing. Okay, so just fill up like what's your business, etc., and then what you do. Okay, so the reason why we do this is so that number one, we know what business you're doing. Number two, so that Coach Reggie, which is JT Foxx's right hand man, will be able to speak with you and see if there's any way we can collaborate. Okay, to see if there's any way we can collaborate, and also um and also for yeah, okay, to see if there's any way you can collaborate, and also so that even after this live, okay, JT will still be able to, like, you still be able to have this relationship where you can speak with JD Fox's people, and just see if there's any way you can collaborate, or any way, so long as you're open to collaboration, you're open to growth, then just fill up this form. Okay, so once you are done, just type done in the chat, and then I will invite JT to come and speak. Okay. Now he's not online yet. So but everyone just type done once you're done, and then yeah. Okay. So this is an application form to apply for the opportunity partner with JT Foxx. It is free to apply, and after filling up this form, you'll get a link to book a free consult with JT's right hand man, Coach Reggie. Coach Reggie will then dive deep with you about your business, and if he likes what he hears, you'll be able to speak with JT Foxx and his team individually. Even if you are not chosen by Coach Reggie to speak with JT Foxx, you will still get value anyway. And I will encourage 100% of you to apply, no matter how small the chances are, because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. If you don't even try, there's a 0% chance you will get it. Believe in yourself and give it a shot. Okay, the reason why we are doing this is because of the coronavirus. We realize that while it might seem like a threat to some, it's actually a huge opportunity for you if you know how to capitalize on it. So if you want the opportunity to partner with a $100 million business partner, fill up the form now. Okay, so just give me a while. I'm going to talk to JT. Let me just mute my mic for a while. And once you've done, type done in the chat. Okay. Okay. Once you're done, type done in the chat. Okay. Okay. Let me just ask JT and everything. Just give me a while. The form is free to fill up, and it will only take 30 seconds. So just quickly fill up the form so that you can have a quick background about you. Okay. The reason why they're doing this is because of the coronavirus and everything. So yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm asking JD to come up because the timing, maybe we got the timing wrong and everything, but don't worry, everything will be done. But make sure you fill out the form first. Once you fill out the form, type done in the chat. Okay, so yeah. Hey, Coach Reggie. Yeah. Okay, great. So, okay, has everyone filled up the link? Once you've filled up, let me know. Go to ALARIC.SITE/JTK. Can someone type this in the chat? Okay, and later on, I'm going to invite Coach Reggie. He's coming on right now. And yeah, Okay, let me just, okay, so everyone, okay, once you have filled up the form at alaric.site/JT, so they have a bit of context, so that when JT speaks, you have a bit of context about what you do, where you're at and everything, so that it'll make more sense to you, okay? And Coach Reggie is gonna come on. Coach Reggie is from JT's team. I think they messed up the time. They were thinking like I think there's a like a bit of a timing there's a bit of timing issue, right? Maybe because in US and everything it's different, but that's fine. We just continue with the live. Okay, so Coach Reggie is gonna come up. Okay, can everyone just go to alaric.site/JT, okay, and fill out the form. Just tell us a little bit about what you do, so that we can tailor the presentation based on what you do. Okay, this will be completely a value live. There won't be any selling or anything. So yeah, okay, great. So Angelina has shared to 5 Facebook groups. Who else has shared to 5 Facebook groups? Okay, if you can share to 5 Facebook groups. Okay, so Reggie is over here, and I'm Coach Reggie is over here, and I'm gonna add him into the stream very soon. Okay. Okay, great. So Coach Reggie is ready. All right, hi, Coach Reggie.
Hey, how are you?
Awesome. Okay, everyone just say hi to Coach Reggie. Okay, his name is Coach Reggie, and Reggie Butts. So okay, Reggie, maybe you can share with us. Yeah, so I asked everyone to fill out the application form. So that you have a quick background about them, and you can like see a little bit of what they do, and you can tailor the presentation based on what they do. Maybe you can share them the relationship between you and JT, and you and Francie, and you know
Absolutely. Well,
why are
well,
you doing this?
well, first of all, thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I got up just for you because I'm so excited about this. JT and I have known each other for over a decade, and I'm a Tony Robbins guy, and JT actually recruited me from Tony Robbins. We've known each other a very long time. I've known him. He's grown his brand all over the world. I'm his lead strategist, so I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I work with his business people, taking them from where they are to where they want to be. And I also manage a lot of the business relationships that JT has with clients literally from every continent. So I'm really excited to have a conversation with you all to move you literally from where you are to where you want to be. And now is the time to really take action to do that, because right now we are at the end of Q4. We're in the middle of Q4. And right now the momentum going into 2021, it starts right now. So there you are.
I see. Okay, great. And maybe you can just introduce everyone about yourself and JT while I ask JT and Francie to come into this live. Okay, so just
Yeah.
And ask everyone to fill out the application form. Yeah.
Yeah. So my name is. Well, you want to talk about the application?
Yes. So ask them to go to alaric.site/JT, and they can fill out the application and everything.
Yeah.
And then when JT comes in, they can type their questions. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, you can also type your questions in the comments, and we will answer them. Yeah. So yeah, Coach Reggie.
So basically, I'm a strategist. I'm the lead strategist at the JT Foxx organization. I'm trying to get this camera so I'm making eye contact. I'm the lead strategist at the JT Foxx organization. I work closely with JT, and we really take people, whether you're a small business, whether you're just getting started, or whether you've been in business for a while, we really help take you from where you are to where you want to be. And we scale you very quickly. So we work with businesses from multi-level marketing business to speakers, to coaches, to authors, to property investors. So it doesn't matter what business you're in. Most people lack the proper branding and the proper marketing to get the branding. So JT is a branding wizard. I don't know anyone else who can brand people like JT Foxx. And again, I was with Tony Robbins for over a decade. And one of the biggest challenges I thought I was going to have is, how can I meet someone who has standards, at the level or higher that Tony Robbins does? And I really found that in JT Foxx, and he's been really consistent over the last decade. And even with everything that's going on in the world today, he's doing more today than he was doing before all this craziness in the world happened. So you guys are in for a special treat. And again, some of you are going to have the opportunity to connect with me by filling out the form at the end of the webinar, and you'll have a link to my calendar, and you'll be able to have a consultation with me to see if you have what it takes to really go from where you are to where you want to be.
Okay, great. Coach Reggie, could you help me to give JT and Francie a quick call? Yeah.
Yes, I think they got the time the same way that I did. So
No, I think because there's a time zone difference, maybe like daylight saving or something. So,
yes.
yeah, let me just give them a quick call. Okay, can everyone just type the comments that you have? If anyone has any questions you have, okay, like what would you want to learn from JD Foxx, who has 52 over countries and brands? He's done like over 500 real estate deals, made 9 figures worth of revenue easily, right? So, any questions that you have, like, yeah, can everyone just type all the comments and questions that you have? Okay, let me just read some questions. And yeah, okay, crazy people make crazy income. Okay, so yeah, so Coach Reggie actually literally woke up at 4 a.m. for all of you, and we're super excited for JT to come on later. Yeah, 12:30 a.m. ET, 7:30 a.m. I think maybe maybe there's a 1 hour. Yeah, we thought it's gonna happen 1 hour later,
Yeah,
but it's good. Okay,
I
it's
have,
good that all of you are here.
I
Anyway,
have.
since all of you are here early, we will just answer some questions that you have. For me, I do Facebook marketing. I do marketing, a little bit of branding and sales. Coach Reggie, maybe you can share with everyone what you do.
So
And
I do a couple of things. I'm a speaker. I'm a business strategist. I own a couple of businesses as well. I just bought into a franchise recently. So I coach students all over the world, and it's been an amazing experience. I'm also the author of the best-selling book Mindset for Success, which is written for business people and entrepreneurs to really, I believe that business is, very. I think that everything that we do in business, our mindset really controls that, and if we engage in a really good mindset, that we can really go from where we are to where we want to be, whether it's in our personal lives or in our business lives. So my specialty is really working with entrepreneurs. I used to work with large companies, and I felt that my interest and my niche is really small business entrepreneurs and helping them go from where they are to where they want to be. So when I was with Tony Robbins, I met Tony Robbins at the age of 21 years old when I met him. And he became my mentor, and I started working with him. And that's how I really got involved in the business. I live in San Diego, California today. And the reason why I live in San Diego is because when I was 21, Tony Robbins' offices were in San Diego, and I packed my car and I moved to San Diego just to take action to work with him. And obviously that did very well. And that's why I tell people, the more action you take, the more successful you're going to be. And that's why I'm so happy to be here, because this guy right here takes a lot of action. And I wish I had half of his energy and half of his tenacity when I was his age. And that's what it takes. It doesn't, I often have people who are like 21, 22 years old. And it used to be that you can kind of skate through life for a couple of years, right after university. You can't do that anymore. It's a very, very competitive market. And I'm finding a lot of people, who are like 20, 21, 25, who are wildly successful, people who have started their own businesses online and offline. And it doesn't matter how much experience you have. You just have to have a good mind who can really get you there. So that's why you took the first step by being here today, which is really, really important. Let me see if JT messaged me back. 1 second. Not yet.
yeah, okay, I think that was a daylight saving. So I just checked Google that okay, it used to be like 12 hours apart, where Singapore is like 12 hours apart from Eastern time. But I think it's actually 1 hour late. So yeah. Okay, so there's over 100 of you live right now. And I'm gonna answer. Okay, so Irvin is gonna ask, what's the biggest obstacle you faced when scaling from 0 to 10K per month, or the income you wanted to make at first? And say cheese stock. Yeah. Okay, let's just answer Irvin's question first, and then we can answer the next question. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a way I can get my camera straight? Because I'm looking right at it, but I'm not making.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So, but you can see the comments in the chat, right? So,
Okay.
Irvin asks, what is the biggest obstacle you faced when scaling from 0 to 10K per month, or the income you wanted to make at first?
I don't see the question. Is that a question for you?
For you, yeah.
Most of what can you repeat the question?
what is the biggest obstacle you faced when scaling from 0 to 10K per month, or the income you wanted to make at first?
Oh, the biggest obstacle for me, and I'll be completely honest with you, is I didn't think that I could do it. That was my biggest obstacle, my mindset. And once I saw other people doing it, you know, how many of you have ever met someone and you know you're smarter than them, you know you're brighter than them, you know you have more education than they have, right? Yet they're far more successful than you are. That doesn't seem logical. And I found that, you know, once I changed my mindset, I accepted the fact in my mind that I can make a certain amount per month. That's when it all changed. But the biggest thing for me, I leaned on people who can get me there, right? And I surrendered to the fact that I couldn't do it myself. The more help you get, the better you're going to be. And, you know, more often than not, the right help costs money. You know, more often than not, the right help is going to require an investment to make that happen. But if you look at, you know, without doing that, just think of how much money you're going to lose. Because in business, especially online business, if you don't do things the right way in the right order, you're not going to get the result, right? It's kind of like a recipe. You know, if you have the ingredients, that's one thing, but you need the recipe. You need to know what to do and what order and all of that. I didn't have any of that knowledge. So lean on people who are experts and have a really good track record who can get you from where you are to where you want to be. Very, very important.
Awesome. And okay, so tell me more about branding.
Tell you more about branding. Okay, so branding, there's two types of brand that I think. There's two types of brand. There's your marketing, there's your business brand, okay? And then there's your personal brand, right? And my definition of branding has always been your brand is what people are saying about you when you are not there. Your brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. So you have your business brand, but you also have a personal brand. So Bill Gates has a personal brand, which is Bill Gates, but he also has a business brand, which is Microsoft. I would guess that more people follow Bill Gates than they do Microsoft. So you want to make sure that you separate your personal brand from your business brand, especially those of you who are business partners. You know, you want to make sure that, you know, you have a separate brand because you may not always be business partners. And what's important is that you do everything to grow your brand, whether it's on social media or otherwise, and you do everything you can to protect your brand, because at the end of the day, your brand is your biggest asset. And it used to be, you know, who you know. It's no longer who you know. It's who knows you. And the more you brand yourself and the more online marketing that you do, the more people are going to know who you are.
Awesome. So how many of you will be keen to be able to speak with Coach Reggie one-on-one? If you're keen, just fill out the form at ALARIC.SITE/JT. After we fill out the form, you will see a link to book a free consult with Coach Reggie. And if Coach Reggie likes your business and he likes what he hears, he will even refer you to JT, and you can even speak with JT individually. Absolutely. And that's what happened to me, right? I went through the same process, filled out the application form, talked to Coach Reggie, and then right now speaking with JT. Okay, so make sure you go to ALARIC.SITE/JT to do that. Okay, now Dragon Maiden asks, as a top wealth coach, what is your tips and advice for making money?
Well, that's a very broad question. That's like asking, you know, what is the key to success? That's a very broad question. So, you know, I'm going to give you a broad answer since you asked a broad question. Number one, know that you deserve it, right? I had some challenges thinking that I couldn't deserve it. You also have to get out of the mindset that you're too young or that you're too old. You have to get out of that mindset. And one of the number one things I'll tell you is that you must be coachable. You must be coachable. And I know you're coachable because you're actually here. So you must be coachable. Align yourselves with the people, not who are talking about the things you want to do, but people who are actually doing the things you want to do. There's a big difference there. I see a lot of people in business who are taking advice from people who don't own a business. That's not very good. You know, if you had a heart pain, you wouldn't talk to your neighbor, you know, who is a plumber, right? You would talk to a doctor. So make sure that the coaching that you're getting and the mentoring that you're getting and the advice that you're getting is relevant to what it is you're doing, and making sure that you do it with people who have done it. Everything that I've done in life and all of my successes in life, I get credit for all those things. But to be completely honest with you, it was the people that I brought into my life who led me there, the coaches that I paid to get me there, the mentors, and all of that. And just having a really good mindset, and you can make it happen. And I wake up every morning and I know exactly what my day is going to look like. So plan your day accordingly. So I think this is JT calling me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry for the screw up. Okay, it's my fault.
Okay.
Anyway,
he said, okay, give me 5. But trust me, it's very, very worth it. You guys have
it's worth it to wait for JT Foxx. Okay, the one and only JT Foxx,
the world's #1 wealth coach. And he's really excited to be here. I talked to him, just yesterday. He's really, really excited to be here. And you guys are in for a special, special treat. So just hang in there for a little bit longer.
So Wheeler Bell asks, hello, Coach Reggie. I would love to know, how do you scale your business and what are the kind of value you provide to grow to where you want to be today?
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of faded out. I'm sorry.
I would love to know, how do you scale your business and what are the kind of value you provide to grow to where you want to be today?
Yeah. Well, the way you scale your business, the way that I do it, and again, that's a broad question also. It really depends on what type of business you have. But the way I scale my business, I look at where I am every quarter. Some people plan by the year. I look at where I am every quarter, and I have to make sure that I'm pacing. My goal is to pace 100% of the growth in my business every quarter. But I usually pace around 80, 85%. But as I get closer to the end of the quarter, I know I have to do more. So you should always think of growth in your business. You're gonna hear JT talk about this many, many times. As the owner of your business, or as the person responsible for your business, you should always be in the future. You should always be in the future in your business, right? Now, there's also some people, if you have a CEO or something like that, you want to make sure they're in the present in your business. But I always want you to think forward in your business. But don't think forward too ahead of the game, because some people have like 5-year goals. A lot can change within five years. I mean, just imagine if you had 5-year goals and what happened with COVID, that would have thrown you off your game. So I don't go too deep into the future because, anything can change with the stock market. There's so much that can happen in the global economy that's out of our control. But what you can control is what you're doing, right? So that's how I would premise it, and just really, focus on, a quarter at a time. That's how I personally do it. JT may give you, a different answer to that question, but it also depends on the size of your company, how many people you have working for you or with you. So there's a lot of variables there.
Okay, so Wheeler Bell asks, another question. Okay, you can continue first.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, keep going. Wheeler Bell has like 2 more questions for you here.
Well, I think I lost my train of thought. So.
Okay, so her second question is, where would you suggest is the best way to look for the right mentor? Now digitally? ? Yeah.
That's a really great question. JT used to always tell us, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And I think that if you're a coachable person, if you want someone of high caliber to coach you, you have to show up as a high caliber person, not being on the same level as that person, but someone who's really, really coachable. Most people that I know who are wildly successful, and I purposely hang around wildly successful people, most of them have no problem sharing their success with others and how they got there, and giving them advice on how they can do the same thing. So you have to be ready, you have to have the right mindset, and you have to be an action taker. The worst thing that a mentor can do, like myself, is give someone advice and they don't take your advice, right? Because if I give someone advice and they don't take my advice, the next time they ask me for advice, I don't give them advice because I feel like I'm wasting my time. Because
right.
Most of the time when people are asking me for advice, they know that I've done the things they want to do. Hence the reason why they're asking for my advice. So if you don't do the things that successful people ask you to do or tell you to do, even if that's making an investment in yourself. I see people, they won't even invest in themselves, and they invest thousands of dollars into university, but they won't invest, a little bit of money in themselves to really grow themselves personally. And that's what you really have to do if you want to really make it happen. And the right mentor will notice you, and they will do everything possible to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Some of you are going to have the opportunity to be mentored by us. One of the first things I'm going to do when I'm having that conversation with you is this person an action taker, right? And if I can see that you're an action taker, we're going to go, 100% to get you to where you need to be. If I see that you're not an action taker, we're not going to accept you, because we want to accept people who have the mindset to not necessarily know how to get there, but they have the mindset to accept the coaching that's going to get them there. And that's the key.
Awesome. So Willabelle, if you want to speak with Coach Reggie one-on-one, make sure you go to ALARIC.SITE/JT and fill out the form. Okay, she had a last question. She said, what would you suggest to someone who has a few businesses at one time and only started going full-time into a business early this year?
Well, first of all, I would always say, I would just focus on one business until you can get to the point where it can scale independent of your efforts before you start another business. Because having a business is tough. You know, it's tough enough with one business. So I tell people, especially in the beginning, you know, if you're JT Foxx or someone at our level or something like that, that's totally different. You know, JT can start multiple businesses at one time. He has he can do that. But if you're just starting, focus on one business. You know, if you put 3 birds on a wire and you have to shoot down one of them, if you're aiming for all 3, you're probably going to miss them all. But if you're aiming for that one, the likelihood of you knocking it down is going to be a lot higher. So get to the point where you can get your business to scale independent of your effort, and then start the other business until you can really get the experience to really create multiple businesses at one time.
All right, and JT is on right now. JT, if you're ready, let me know. I'll add you to the stream.
Excellent.
Okay, so I'm just gonna add JT to the stream. All right.
Are we?
Yes. Yeah. Live. Yeah. JT, you're live right now. We have got about 100+ people live right now. I'm super sorry for the screw up.
I was in the shower. I try to change songs, and then I got ready like, oh my God, different time zones. And so I have never I'm still wet. And so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry because I just realized that there's daylight saving, right?
Yes,
8 p.m. Singapore time used to be 8 a.m. ET, but right now it's shifted to 7 a.m. ET. So I'm super sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay,
I'm just glad to be on here with all these people.
Okay, so Dragon Maiden asks, let's say you started from nothing at 20. So this question is for you, JT. Let's say you started from nothing at 20. How would you go about making money? I think this will be super relevant here.
Well, I mean, I started at 24 with no money. I think it was negative $34,000. And, you know, it's hard because there's a lot of, you know, get rich quick type things and people make it seem it's easy. And at the end of the day, it's not. There's no magical formula or system per se. When I look back at my success, it's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. And so the most valuable skills that people can really do is relationships, monetize relationships. People who have access, people who have connections, people who have capital, people who have opportunity. So that at the end of the day, where the opportunity is. And, you know, to be able to start, I mean, I remember you when you came to my first training, I remember that very well. You know, that was my first training, and a year later, I bring you on stage. You know, there's 8,000 people, if I remember correctly. It was me and Tony Robbins. I remember very clearly. It was 8,000 people, and then all of a sudden, I'm in Perth, Australia, and you flew from Singapore to come see me. Right? You were in between military service, if I remember correctly. Right? And I was like, wow, this guy is like a young guy, and he came from Singapore to Perth. To me, and then you went to one of my trainings in Vietnam, you and your mom. And so to me, said to me, that's kind of what, it's not the money. So that impressed me. And that really, really impressed me. And so when I came up with this vision, because obviously I have a very high net worth, I have a lot of success, I've done a lot of real estate, I've done a lot of business, you know, we're in 54 different countries, clients 100. And I said to myself, well, you know, a lot of people are watching this right now. And what you're saying to yourself is, wow, this is good content, right? I'm sure Reggie was fantastic. But that's like being a fan, right? Like, how would I like to be in this window? It's really what it comes down to, right? And if you're in this window that we're in now, we're on the screen, you're doing very well, and you become an A player in the game. Then there are people that are attendees that are very skeptical. And I think more and more people are getting skeptical. Of course, you got coronavirus, you got the political situations, you got uncertainty and all that. And everyone thinks everything's a scam. but it's funny. I never see very successful people. I know billionaires and multimillionaires and the biggest celebrities in the world. They never use the word scam. And people say things are scam because they've never accomplished anything, right? It's a scam because and maybe they got burnt. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. You've been burnt in relationships and friendships. I mean, I just got burnt yesterday. Someone who'd been with me for 9 years. And, I could have cut his payback for the pandemic. I didn't because he has a family and all that. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. But it was uncertain when the pandemic happened. And all of a sudden he goes like, I resign, due to health problems. And if there's any questions, send me an email. And this is someone I've known for 9 years. And you know what I mean? And so, there's going to be a lot of stories like that as well. And I think there's no book that will prepare to people there as well. But when I look back at my life, my first business partner in properties, he led me to a second partner worth 2 million, then 20 million, then 400 million. Then I did over 500 real estate deals. And then by having a relationship with one speaker promoter led to another promoter, another promoter. And I'm on the biggest stage in the world, including going to Singapore, which was in Singapore and Malaysia, which by the way, was one of the great educations I got. First time I went to Malaysia, I did so well. And then I went back the following week, but that was first time was like 300 people. The second time was like 6,000 the next week later. And I completely bombed the second time. One of my worst speech I ever did because I didn't understand the culture, right? And so when I went to Singapore again the following week and I was bothered by failure, I learned everything about the Singapore culture, the family. I even have my Singlish very well. I know every area. In fact, Reggie and I have probably been to Singapore over 60 different times. We've been to Malaysia over 50 different times. And then my band expanded in China, in Hong Kong, in Japan. Like I've been to all those places, and there's a lot of great lessons to be learned there in the relationship as well. And that's what I kind of came up with the pandemic. And when I thought about this, I say, listen, I have a powerful brand. I have access to money and connections and everything. And we looked at everybody. I don't know if I'm zooming here, but I looked at everybody and I said, rather than me starting more businesses, because I have 50 companies and brands, how can I just partner with people, like great people? And we made a list of all the great clients, right? Because you go from city to country to country to country to city to city to city, and you don't stop to say, hey, there's people that are awesome here, right? I don't need 10,000 people. I can work with 100 people that are on here, take 5 or 6 and grow your empire. Make one phone call, right? Write one email, introduce you to one contact. And, just for example, you know how many requests that Reggie and I to be on things every single day? I mean, everybody's virtual. Say no to 99.9%. But when we saw you, I'm like, why can't I just partner with him, right? And what could happen? And Reggie said, first of all, had a conversation with him. He says, wow. So how it works is he had a conversation with Reggie. Reggie called me and he goes, do you remember him? I'm like, absolutely. And I said, done. I want to work with that guy, right? And there are challenges. He wants to be cool. And sometimes it's not easy, but when you live in Asia and you want to try to go to the UK or you want to go to America or Canada or Australia, it's not as obvious. And it takes that push and that connection, that validation. And now, we're going to do things globally all over the world together. So that's really kind of the point of what I do. We like to work with people. And you said to us, hey, I have a great audience. They're engaged. They're hungry like me. And you said they may be better than me. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. Reggie is like really early in the morning for him, probably like 4:30 in the morning for him. He's up. I'm up. And the point is, how can we work together? This is not like, rather than run to the back by a program, it's now become run to the back. How can we work together? How can we monetize each other's relationship?
Awesome. Is there a lag? No. Is there a lag? Is anyone? Am I lagging?
Yeah, sometimes you're lag, sometimes I'm not. I don't know.
Okay.
Listen, when there's a duck as a logo, I just don't know if it was going to work.
Maybe we should invest in Trivia. Change. Buy over your business.
So I'm staring at that. So here's the thing too: successful people don't do, they don't do their best. They do whatever it takes. And here's the thing: the moves that people make now here will set them apart. Like they have a chance. You have 20, 21-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-olds. They have an opportunity of really doing amazing things right now and having an advantage because a lot of people are running scared and a lot of people are waiting. The biggest mistakes that people can make. I mean, I've made millions during the pandemic in completely different industries and businesses. I reinvented myself. I mean, I was on the road every single day, different country, 324 days a year. All of a sudden, they're like no events around the world, right? You go from like hero to zero, right? I mean, that's really what happened. Reggie and I for 10 years were on the road all the time, 10 years. And all of a sudden we had to repivot. For the first few months, Reggie was like, well, we'll see how it goes, and like extended vacation. And then we just got on the phone. I'm like, what? We got to make this work. We got to change the role, and we got to get involved. And so bottom line is, a lot of people try to sell programs, and I do have programs, but that's not my thing. My thing is monetize the relationship. And it's simple. People go to the link, they see it. You'll have a meeting with Reggie. Reggie will talk to you, and Reggie will then come back to me and say, here this person is, here's what they're about, here's their business, here's they want to start, here's their idea, here's what they do. Do you think this is a good fit? And if I say yes, then we're going to have a meeting together. And we're going to see the potential. But I'm willing to put my big brand, all my connections, my celebrity, my thing. I mean, I connected ALARIC to George Ross, my coach, one of my coaches. I connect them to a lot of people, and it doesn't matter if they're in real estate or any business matters. I mean, we have plastics. I just partnered up yesterday with a renovation company, and already just by being involved, they're getting contracts. So it's really funny to see how the power of relational capital. It's not financial capital; it's relational capital. And
Reggie, what about for the people who think their business is too small? What would you say to those individuals?
Well, if you think your business is too small, then you're not going to be bigger by yourself and then come to me. I don't invest in businesses. I invest in people. That's real. Ultimately, I don't really care how big or small your business is. People is what makes great, because any business can be scaled. That's not the hard part. To me, it's really understanding it's that people. I want people that are loyal. I want people that have a great attitude. I want people that are negative. I want people who don't find excuses. I want people who want to succeed as bad as they want to breathe. I want people who have the fire inside them. I want people to say, you know what? I want this. I want to become a ALARIC. I want to become Reggie. And you know what I mean? And people are starting to call me Kingmaker because I go this, and people become successful because of that. But these things are not easy. Life's not easy. Business is not easy. There's a lot of struggles happening. This pandemic is a lot of uncertainty. Together, we are so much stronger than we are as individuals. That's the point, right? If just, let's say none of us did business, but all of us could work here, together. There are millions to be made just out of all the people that are here, right? To find out, what do you know? How can we partner? Is there any synergies there as well? They've got nothing to lose filling out the form. Nothing to lose, but everything to gain. It takes one person, one vote, and one opportunity to change your life and your business forever. A moment of clarity, a moment of change, a moment of, of just a turning point, right? Everyone's got a turning point in your life. Fill out that link. Doesn't cost anything. That's the turning point.
Awesome. Wow, I think it's a JT Foxx effect, because before you came on live, there were about 90 people on the call. Now there's about 150 people. So just JT Foxx alone gives a 50% increase.
How did they know I was in the shower? Did you just following me and they know I'm in the shower?
All right. Okay. So I think we're just gonna answer some questions that Coach Reggie answered. But maybe you have a different answer. Is that okay? So I'm just gonna add a Francie to the stream as well. Francie, we are live. And okay, so Irving asked, what is the biggest obstacle you faced when scaling from 0 to 10K per month, or the income you wanted to make at first?
Well, obviously, any business that's based on referrals is not a business, which is why now Francie has chimed in. She had the same problem as I had. We didn't have the right time. So I was in the shower, Francie. You had an hour at me, so technically you were mentally prepared.
I was working out this morning.
I've
been up for an hour and a half.
Okay, later y'all can crucify me.
So, but I think the problem with scaling is people are basing their business on referrals, and any base that's based on referrals is not something you can scale. That's the hardest part ever. And you have to crack the marketing code, something that Francie's done very well and something we continuously doing. I mean, we had a long meeting yesterday. The idea is spend $1, make 5. That's really what it is. And, you can spend 1 and make 1 to break even and hope that you're going to make it later. But eventually the diminishing return over exposure on ad, and then that goes down. So I think there's this notion that you can work your way from 0 to 10K. You got to figure out the market, and if done correctly, done systematically, done with procedures, you can scale. And it's all about testing. And I think people do one campaign or a couple campaigns, and then they get frustrated that they don't make it. And also posting on your social media, that's not a marketing campaign, unfortunately. It's not, and the algorithms are getting more and more tricky and harder to see your stuff. And don't forget, everybody used to see your stuff on Facebook. Now nobody sees it. For a while, Instagram, a lot of people could see it. Now they're restricting, they're owned by the same company. So you see, TikTok has a little bit more visibility, but the problem is that, no one's really said, I parlayed my TikTok account into sale, right? In my dance, and I'm not talking about being an influencer, but so those challenges, this marketing and also branding, like who are you, right? And why would people do business with you? Why would they partner with you? Those are two big challenges, and those are challenges we're hoping that we can solve for you together. Francie, you want to add anything to the marketing point? And Francie's my CEO, right? I come up with all the ideas. She does all the work. I get all the credit. That's business.
I think to your point of scaling from, 1,000 to 10,000 a month, or really scaling in general, I think marketing is so important because you have to constantly have a way to have new leads. Right in the beginning, it's great. People will refer you, but you have to be able to have new leads. And the reality is the internet's the best way to acquire new leads right now, but everything's changing so fast. What worked on Facebook 6 months ago might not work right now. So it's kind of in an ever changing, always evolving space. And I think additionally, on top of, the marketing and branding, I think one of the biggest things for entrepreneurs is focus. It can be really hard for someone, especially if you're a sole entrepreneur, you're wearing all the hats. Sometimes it can be a challenge to figure out what is the most important thing I need to focus on right now that's going to help me drive revenue, and you don't end up wasting your time on a bunch of things that are just time wasters, which I think can be really, really easy to do for a sole entrepreneur that's trying to grow their business.
Awesome. So Jackie said, I try so hard in making web apps, but I don't have any business skills. I've been working for a while to start a business. So what should he do? Yeah.
Right, but good point. You're saying it's so hard making websites. I don't have business skills. Any skills can be learned. So my question is, how many business books have you read? How many courses have you listened to? How many events have you attended? How many of ALARIC stuff did you listen to as well? So saying it's hard, I'm reading Elon Musk's book right now, and they were saying that number one, you can't do something in the financial banking thing. You made it happen. They said you can't make this type of rocket. It's impossible. He made it happen. They said that you can't do this battery. It's never going to work. He made it happen. So you don't say it's so hard. That's the whole point. You need to figure it out, right? Now we're here to help you figure it out, but you can't just be self-defeating yourself and say it's so hard. I have no skills. All skills are learned. It's like saying, oh, well, I don't speak Mandarin. It's hard. Well, how many hours are you spending? Did you get yourself a tutor, a coach, right? Are you just like, how much effort did you put into? How persistent you were, right? It's important enough for you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse.
Awesome. So she said, I'm launching my small business next year, but I'm excited. Any advice for her?
Why next year? Why not? Like people are like, next year, now. And don't small business, because it's basically saying my business will be small. I'm launching my business. A, it's not small. Okay. I'm launching a business. When people say I have a small business, you're telling me you're not successful. Because nobody says I have a small business unless they're not successful. I have a business. You're an entrepreneur. Why launching next year? Start now. Entrepreneurism is not like school. Like I will start school next fall or next spring or next summer. So that's the point that people need to understand, is there is no next year. It's got to start now. The seeds you plant now, so that because if you start next year, well, then you're going to have to wait 3 or 4 months to get going again. Why not plant some seeds now so that when you're starting, you're up and running?
All right. So Dragon Maiden asks, since you mentioned relationship is the key ingredient to success, was wondering how do you go about building that connection as a nobody when nobody knows you and you're young and unknown?
Okay. Well, we can't use the young anymore because some of the wealthiest people ever were young, like Zuckerberg and Snapchats and all the people. So I don't think youth relevancy is more important than experience. But what value are you adding to other people, right? Like, Alaric was young, right? But what did he do? He attended the events and he showed up and he did this and he added value and he said, here's this and I could do this too. You got to add value. Like, what can you offer? Who can you connect? What can you do? And you can't wait for things to come to you as well. And that's one thing. There's 2 types of entrepreneurs, proactive and reactive. Proactive is they kind of like, just go out there, figure it out. And reactive, wait for things to happen, right? You create the value. No one's going to give it to you. No one's going to hand you anything. You have to create the opportunity by adding value. Find out about people. What can I do? I can connect. Hey, here's a potential client. You do things that will be the value. Francie, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I definitely want to add to that because relationships are really, really important. But I think that's also why you're watching this and listening this today, is because relationships are so important. But when you work with, people like Alaric and Reggie and JT and myself, you're also getting the benefit of being able to work with us. And in the instance, being able for us to be able to connect you with the people that would be the right relationships. So I think it also comes down to adding value, but who are the people you're surrounding yourself with? Who are the people you're working with? Who are the people that are coaching you? Who are the people you're bringing into your network? Because those people can then add more value and add more relationships and add more connections as well. So you've got to put yourselves in the right room. You've got to work with the right people. And, these are the right people that you're listening to right now that have a lot of relationships and a lot of connections all over the world. Like, I know you might be sitting here saying, well, JT, Reggie, Francie, you're all, in the US and we're in Singapore and we're in Asia. We have been to Singapore, have been to Asia so many times and have so many connections literally all over the world that I think that's a key point and what helps you drive some of those relationships and connections as well.
Awesome. So Willabelle asks, where would you suggest is the best way to look for the right mentor, now digitally?
I mean, you're looking at 4, so I mean, you're looking at people here. I think here's the thing too. You're only as good as the people that are around you. I like to go to the best. So it's like saying, I want a basketball coach. Well, who do I want to be coached by? Do I want to be coached by Phil Jackson, who coached Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, or some local coach, which I'm sure he knows basketball, but will he be as good? So I still have 5 coaches to this day. I think the combined net worth of my coaches are about over $2 billion for sure. And they're all very successful. So I think that's the thing. Sometimes we take advice from people that are not very successful. See, everybody on social media now, everybody can post pictures next to a car or next to a stack of money or dollar bills with 100 on top, or any of those things too, or planes and all that. But here's the thing. If you take care of your clients will take care of your success rate and your profits. Reggie?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're right here. A lot of people, they think that they're not big enough, or they think they're not big enough or whatever. But if you're coachable, the right person will appear in your life, and that's why we're here. And if you think that you have what it takes to really take it to the next level, no matter how small you are, again, it's about the person. It's not about the business. And if you have what it takes, I think the right person, the right coach is going to actually be there for you. But the worst thing you can do as a student is not listen to your coach. If you listen to your coach, I listened to JT sometime especially years ago, He would tell me to do something, and I would be like, he's absolutely crazy, and I would do it, and I would get the result, and I would say, my goodness. And it doesn't make sense to us because they're so much more experienced than we are, and that's why we have to step outside of our comfort zone to do things that we would normally not do. But guess what? If you knew how to do it in the first place, then you wouldn't need the coaching or the mentoring, to begin with. So listen to your coaches and take those risks that you have to make. I mean, I say all the time, risk is the new down payment for success, and you have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So Joshua Singh asked, what are the best tips to start an online fitness coaching business?
Well, here's the difference. We have an online business. If you go to Busy Life Workouts, we're branded. And then we realized that we had a good angle, right? The idea is you have to have a good hook. Our hook was work out for busy people who don't like working out, which is 95% of the people. And then once we found that out, we started doing well. We started branding with Jillian Michaels, the #1 fitness expert in the world, which, by the way, I think we're going to be doing an event with her next week online. And she's going to talk about branding and stuff like that. So maybe ALARIC, we can set you up with that so people can attend that if you want.
Sure.
But the point is, we started something and then we say, how can we brand it? So we found the #1 fitness woman in the world. So now we're, I'm sure they knows way more about fitness than us, but we just understand the power of branding. And, the branding is not something you say, it's something you do. Branding is about having a unique selling proposition. And that's one thing we can do for you. We can brand you just by being involved with you, right? And let's say this person's in fitness, we may set them up with Jillian Michaels, right? That's what we want to do. Fill out the link, have the interview with Reggie. Let's see what we can do. And let's see where there's synergies. But that's just another example of, I know the #1 fitness expert in the world. In fact, I just was a couple days ago. So, and all of a sudden now, now we're like, all right, this is cool. We got you involved, that just like that, that's the power of the next level. That's the power. And that is the power of the relationship. You could message her, you're blue in the face, she'll never even respond. But if I call her and say, hey, listen, I got some good guys, got a potential, it's in Asia, mind doing this for me, and we'll do this. And then that is a perfect example of what we can do.
Awesome. Say Cheese asks, Mr. JT, can I know what does branding mean to you?
Branding is just between you and somebody else. Why you? It's really what it comes down. Branding is a sense of loyalty. Branding is differentiation. Branding, when you're branded, people come to you. When you're branded, they don't negotiate you on price. The ends are notoriously for negotiating, but you never negotiate Hermes, Louis Vuitton, right? Or any of these luxury brands, or you don't get into the Rolls Royce and you get negotiate that. So, right, what do you negotiate? You try to get a cheaper deal on a Toyota. You try to get a cheaper deal on another car, but they don't really give discounts, Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Bugattis. That's the point. My job is to make you the Bugatti of your industry, right? To become a luxury, but then also become a luxury that's a necessity. You can be, you don't have to be expensive to be a luxury, right? But you need to be a necessity. Like you could be very expensive, but people still need it, right? People still need it. And that's the point. You want to become a luxury necessity.
Awesome. Okay, this is a funny question. L7 asks, what does J and T stands for? Does anyone know?
That's not for me to answer.
Everybody wants to know. Only in Asia they want to know, like stuff like that. #1, I would never tell you if I wanted to. And second, too, it doesn't,
Dragon Maiden asks, do you read Think and Grow Rich every day?
No, I've never actually read that book.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't, because to me, that's theory. It's like, I don't need to be motivated. And that's the whole point where we came back in an earlier conversation. Think and Grow Rich is just trying to motivate you with like helium, right? What you need is skills. You don't need to read Think and Grow Rich. You need to master sales and master marketing. And that's the point, is that people want this feeling of like thinking. Like one of the questions there is like, how do I become can I become a billionaire in 4 years? That was one of the questions there that I just read. That like I'll do what everybody else does. Yeah, it's so easy. You got to press the button. No work, no effort. You don't need clients. You don't need any of the work. Sprinkles will come from the side, right? And here's the thing too. Like, why don't you start your first 100,000, then your first million, then your first 10 million, then 25, then 50, then 100, and then a billion, right? Like chase the money, it never really happens. And I think that's kind of like the fundamentals of that. Francie, you want to add?
I mean, two things I'm going to add. One, I don't think there's any book that you should read every single day, right? Like I wouldn't reread Think and Grow Rich every day. I would read a new book with new information and different content. So that's, one thing, to get different information. The second one is, if you look at most billionaires out there, they didn't do it in 4 years, and almost all of them will say there was a little bit of luck involved somewhere. Like there's a little bit of right time, right place, just really, really great idea. And you've got to start with, the thing is you have to start with realistic goals that might be a little bit of a stretch that are achievable. Because if you're just saying I'm going from 0 to a billionaire, you're going to get really, really, you're going to get sad, and you're going to get like depressed if you feel like you're not getting there fast enough. So you've got to set, a little bit of a push, but obtainable goals. So you feel like you're getting something accomplished and you keep moving forward instead of just setting something that's like all the way up here. And really, you kind of gotta climb up so you can feel excited and more motivated as you're going.
Awesome. So Xiao Yu asks, can we start and do few businesses at the same time? Or we should start with one business first until it is successful before we start the second and following businesses? Well, JT, who has 50 over companies, he will be the perfect person to answer this question.
Here's the thing too: start with one, make money on one. You start 60 like we have now too. We just got another one yesterday, so, and we got a lot more coming. But yeah, I think everyone wants to start all these businesses. I think focus is very important. Trying to focus on one thing, growing that, making that as more profitable as possible, and then you grow. Apple started with the computer first, and then the iPod, iPhone, iPad, and so forth. Everything you build one so you can build an ecosystem, right? Build that core audience, and when people like your product and service, they'll buy whatever you ask. And the idea is to start other businesses or brands that complement your core brand, so that people that like and trust you in this business can keep buying. It creates an ecosystem.
Awesome. So Gracie, make sure you fill out the application form if you haven't filled up the application form. Okay. Diner Huang TV asks, how could we handle imposter syndrome, especially when we just started as an entrepreneur?
You're not, but I'll start with nothing as well. And I think when imposter syndrome is you have other family and friends that are getting into your head that are telling you it's not going to work, or it's a scam, or don't be this as well. One of the biggest things I've gone through the pandemic is I really stopped caring what anybody else thought. And it really increased my level of happiness, because I was trying to please people who never believed in me, who spent more time thinking bad about me. And I realized that none of them were very successful. You're an entrepreneur. You are who you are. Don't worry about it. You're not an imposter. We all start there. You know what the imposter is? When you post next to a Ferrari and it's not, you don't own one, or when you have a plane, or you pretend to have money when you don't, or you lie that you have. The most important quality in entrepreneurs is the aura of authenticity. How authentic are you? Just be you.
Awesome. Willabelle asks, I have a few things said which I'm really passionate about, but what advice would you give to someone who has a few directions to go towards, but not knowing which direction to go with first?
That's why they got to go to the link, talk to Reggie. He is a master. He'll tell you what works, what doesn't work, and what direction you should go. That's why that is very, very important as well, because you're right. This is the thing where, and then you ask your family and friends, they're like, this direction. And we'll say, no, it's not. Sometimes people ask the opinion of people that are non-buyers. They'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. Well, can I buy one? Oh, no. So I think too many often as well is that people have to get guidance, right? It takes a lifetime to build a brand. 5 minutes short. One bad decision can set you back in your business. Francie?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to focus on, one, what's going to be the thing that's going to be the most profitable, or be the most desirable, or be the best business move, right? And that's also where coaching and mentoring comes in, because we've worked with a lot of people. We've seen a lot of businesses. We've seen a lot of people with a lot of ideas that didn't work, and a lot of things that did work. So I think that's also a huge benefit of coaching and mentoring, because it's somebody that's been there, done that, and can give you advice with what's the best idea to start with. So you're not kind of spinning your wheels trying to figure out where you should go. Somebody can just tell you where you should be focusing because we have that experience.
Awesome. JT, by the way, do you have any bonus that you can, okay, I asked everyone to share to 5 Facebook groups, right? Do you have any free bonus or free something, you know, to give them?
Okay, so here's a perfect example is
Maybe.
that one time when we work with people, we'll go back to their social media, look at the social media, and they'll be like, wow, look at this person, you know, shared something or is adding value. This is the point that we talked about, adding value. If you do something so you can get a bonus, you know, it's like a dog, right? It does it just to get the treat, but will that dog do it itself without the treat? Or it's like spoiling children, only rewarding them with gift if they do something rather than doing the right thing all the time, right? You have to take a look at it. There's 4 of us here from all over the world. Very early for us as well. We say no to 99%. We are here adding value. We're still here. We rushed out of the shower. Francie rushed out of the gym. Reggie had to wake up here in California. So, but that's where adding value comes in. And if people feel that this was good value, they should kind of like share it because it is very good value and we appreciate that as well. And then one day when I see it, and you can add me on social media, JT Foxx 2X, or add me on Instagram, official JT Foxx 2X, send me a message.
Okay,
let me know what you thought. And you know what? When I like your post one day and then my entire social media sees it, then you'll remember, because when you add value, reciprocal relationships is the key. It shouldn't be, I only do something if I get, and that's the way the world is. And I get why you're doing it, but you want people to do the thing because it's the right thing, not because they got something to do it as well.
Got it. All right.
They can get cell phone number and Reggie's cell phone number right now. I don't have
Okay, so Sean asks, you're talking about adding value. I believe I've been adding. Did you answer this question already? How
No,
can
we
I
didn't.
change? Okay, yeah. You're talking about adding value. I believe that I have been adding value to people. I'm in real estate. My clients always come to me for advices, but now they're businesses. How can I change that? Like, means they always come for free advice, but I think they're not paying. I think that's what he means.
Well,
Yeah.
and it depends who your clients are. When people don't value them, say, I'd love to give you advice, but this is what I charge. And if they say, oh, then they don't value your time, don't respect your time. Anything that's given for free. I don't know how many people signed up and how many people showed today, but you'd be
It's about 100 plus, yeah.
Yeah, which is great. But you know, how many people signed up and showed up? Maybe everybody did, but a lot of people, they sign up and don't show up. And that's a weakness. I like, you know, what happens if we had this scale and we didn't show up? Like, I don't feel like it. You know what I mean? Or, you know what, I woke up, it's, I don't feel it, then that would be a complete disrespectful. So how is it people stuff and don't show up? And that would be the biggest frustration, everybody listening. Most people don't do what they say they're going to do. I know you guys are, because you're here, you're winners, which is, by the way, think about this. You're on here, you fill out the form. We could all very well be business partners together, right? And then there are people, had they showed up for free, it's not, nobody paid here, because they didn't show up, they didn't fill out the link, they never got to experience in that, and their whole life has changed, right? Because they didn't show up. Every time you say yes, 3 doors open, 9 doors open, 10 doors. The word no, I don't show up, something came up, their lives tomorrow will be the exact same as it was today. Your lives, because you filled the form, I'm interested, you got my attention, you're here. What you gonna do with that attention? Whether you're super small or big, it doesn't matter. What are you gonna do with that attention? The rest is up to you. I'm all in on you. The question is, you can fold, right? Or call and go all in together.
Awesome. What are some of the, so make sure you all fill out the form. Everyone, if you haven't filled the form yet, I mean, it's free. It takes you 30 seconds to fill out the form. And if you haven't filled out the form, I think you're just crazy, or let's just, like, there are a lot of dumb people in this world. Please don't be that person. All right. Okay. Next person, Dragon, asks, what are some of the common habits of ultra high network people? Ultra high net worth people around you? Yeah.
They're loyal, persistence, they have ambition, they have drive, enthusiasm, they have no excuses. They don't say how much it costs, they say how much is it going to make me. They all have coaches and advisors, they send themselves. They spend a lot of time mind reading. and they don't have a scarcity mindset. I read an interesting quote: billionaires lose millions, right, to be billionaires. Millionaires will lose hundreds of thousands to be millionaires. Broke people don't want to spend anything, right, but they want to get rich, right? So they're not willing to lose anything, right? And then and then what they do is then they result to saying, I live here, I'm young, I'm old, whatever excuse there are, and those are just excuses.
Correct. Yeah. I've invested, like last time when JT was still doing a lot of courses and coaching and programs, total I've spent over 6 figures on different coaches, seminars, etc. Just on JT alone is multiple 5 figures, flying to Vietnam, flying to Australia, attending his events in Singapore.
For the
And,
record,
I
Air
think
Asia is very cheap from Singapore. I just want to say to him, nobody feels sorry for you. You have Air Asia, for the record.
Kidding. All right. Okay, so Jeevan Jot asks, if I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm unsure what business I should do, what questions will you ask yourself before starting a business of your own?
Well, you want to go, how much money do you want to make? That's the first and foremost thing. So think about how many do you want to make? And then you want to work backwards. And then you figure out how many clients do I need, how many deals I have, how many people I need to talk to. And then you realize, is it really business and can I really achieve the level? The mistake that sometimes people say is, I'm going to start with this business. And then when it makes money, I'm going to go somewhere else. And then 5-10 years later, they're in the same business and miserable. Always work backwards. Francie?
Yeah, I think it's really looking at, what do you have skills in? I hate when people say, find your passion and you'll never work a day in your life, because some things just aren't things that are going to get you financially to where you want to be, right? So it's got to be a mix of something you like, something you're good at, and can financially get you to where you want to be. It's got to be kind of a mix of all of those things.
And I was just going to add, what problem do you solve? What problem are you solving in the marketplace? That's a really important one.
And whether people are willing to pay for it too. That's the big thing. You can have a problem. There's some of the greatest ideas, but unfortunately,
there's not
and especially in the business world, the marketing world, everyone needs it. No one wants to pay for it. So that's the thing. So that's why you have to retool your marketing.
Awesome. Seichis asks, on what criteria do you decide before investing on a certain business?
First is the people, first and foremost, and yeah, people. It's really what it is. I can make any business work. That's not an issue. Now, I might say, you're a great person. This business is not good. Let's do this instead.
All right. Okay. Jeevan Jot asks, what's your opinion on doing a wholesale business offering Indonesian fashion products? Do you think wholesale business is dying?
No, because I think it's another form of e-commerce. I think the wholesaling business also has to be blind with e-commerce. We all know what the COVID area has done to e-commerce and will continue doing. But I also too, when things go back to normal, and they will go back to normal, right? I think a lot of old habits, some will stay, but I've been debating, will people go back to office? Maybe not in the next year and a half, 2 years, but you watch 3 years from now, we'll be completely back to normal, exactly where we were before. Because then you're going to come into the office and you're going to be like, okay, I meet these people, I see these people, and I build a relationship and I grow. And then you have another person at home. Yeah, they're at home working on Zoom and stuff like that. They're doing their job. But which one do you think is going to get more promoted? The person that's inside the office, that's building a relationship with their superiors, let's say, or the bot? And so I think 3 years from now, everything's going to be back to normal in 3 years from now. Now, the question as a business owner, for example, when you used to fly your executives and you spend first class, business class, hotels per diem, and now they can do it on Zoom. Is that changed forever? Or people are still going to want in person? But I will tell everybody this: the minute everything is reopened, people are going to flock to concerts, flock to sporting events, flock to events. People are going to want that human contact. That I'm 100% sure about that.
All right. Okay, great. So for those of you who have not filled up the form, make sure you go to ALARIC.SITE/JT, right? I know you're probably thinking like, okay, my business is too small to be able to partner with JT and everything. I thought the exact same way. I was thinking, okay, I'm not even anywhere close to where JT is at, but I decided to just fill up the form, okay, because I just want to explore any ways we can collaborate or anything. I just, so don't feel bad about anything. Just fill out the form. There's over 128 of you online right now, just take the next maybe 30 seconds, open a new tab, go to ALARIC.SITE/JT. Fill a very simple form so that Coach Reggie can understand more about your business. And you get a one-to-one consult with Coach Reggie, which he's not charging you for, which he normally charges a lot of money for.
What I was going to say also is that when I do these calls with individuals, I'm asking, I would say 80% of my questions are based on the individual, not the business, right? So JT is really into the individual and not the business. So, and I say that because JT can pretty much grow any business, right? We can change the business, he can change the business, but we can't change the person if they don't want to change. So the main thing that I'm looking for is, are you someone who's coachable, and do you have what it takes? You know, you look at the resources that JT has. I mean, I wish I had the opportunity to do this. I would have done this, you know, a long time ago. This would have jump-started everything that I did. But the fact that he's willing, you know, he's got the sales, he's got the marketing, he's got the operations, he's got the branding, he's got all of those things. So if, you know, just take action. And the worst thing that's going to happen, the worst case scenario, is that you're going to get some nuggets that you can use to improve your business. And that's the worst case scenario. So that's a pretty good worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that you're going to do business with JT.
There's your bonus. Reggie is offering nuggets from McDonald's. That is a brilliant offer. Reggie, I would like to sign up. Can you please make them gluten-free? I would forever be grateful as well. So people wanted something free. Free nuggets for everyone who talks.
For everyone.
Maria Hoyt asks, what to look at when choosing who to work with, and what are red flags to look for to not work with people?
We see Maria everywhere. So Maria, we're good. We're good. I see Maria every day in my life. So we're good, Maria. We're good.
To the point where she should know the answer to that question.
She does. She does. She just wants to.
Jivan Job said vegan nuggets, please.
You got it.
We need vegan, gluten-free nuggets.
Yeah, you guys are so picky. Gluten, vegan nuggets.
JT, I want to ask you a question. Like, what do you think? Like, why do you think you've pivoted your business model? Kind of like last time you were selling coaching, and you used to charge like $100,000, $10,000, $5,000 for coaching. And what made you decide to shift your business model to what you're doing now instead?
Well, instead of coaching, telling people what to do, and then people go on and do amazing things, and I'm like, damn, right? I'm like, why can't we do it together? So that was the shift, and they can do it much faster if I'm involved. So it was really kind of like, rather than, and we still do coaching, and sometimes some people, the best is to start with it. Sometimes that's a better avenue for them as before, and we can decide what that is. But we've met some of the most amazing people. Like, for example, without this, we'd be on this call right now. We wouldn't have partnered with you. So that's a perfect example. Right. So people have got nothing to lose in the game by filling out the form. And here's the thing too, probably be the biggest life-changing moment.
Awesome. And yeah, so just make sure you fill out the form. I wanted to ask a question, but I forgot it slipped my mind. Let me think. Okay, and do you have case studies of examples of the businesses that people who fill out the form, and then how you're collaborating with them, etc.? Yeah.
Well, one is a trading algorithm, one is an ice cream, one is a renovation company, one's a developer, one's a cleaning business. I mean, you name it.
Coaching business.
What?
Coaching business.
Yeah, coaching businesses. Those ones, speakers, like everything. I mean,
the other thing too, you know, it's so many different types of industries, but it's all over the map too, from our level of involvement to, you know, some of the businesses we're becoming 50-50 partners with plans to expand, you know, nationally. Some of them are, you know, where we're taking a small percentage. Some is where JT is very highly involved. Some he's just investing money in the business. Some, you know, we're helping more on the marketing and branding. Some it's with sales. Some you know, it's very very different depending on what the need of the business is and kind of where the gap is to be able to help that business grow and, you know, be more profitable, make more money, and what's going to be a win-win for everyone.
So is this something like Shark Tank or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I shot take publicly in front of everybody else, so this is one-on-one. So I don't think the idea is yeah, I don't know. I think I have other things that are more like Shark Tank. This is more like, hey, let's work.
I think it's a little
different.
Yeah.
Because I think with Shark Tank, it's more like, I'm going to give you money, go make the business great. And I think the difference with this is it's not always about money. Sometimes it's more about actual JT's time. And, you know, it's basically having your coach in and a part of your actual business. So, you know, I think that's something you don't necessarily get on a Shark Tank, is they don't actually get involved in the business on the day-to-day. Or, you know, one of the businesses we're doing right now, we've been working on what's the design going to be, what's the logo going to be, and we probably spent a month just on coming up with the perfect name of the business, and circulating a bunch of different names and asking people and getting feedback and changing it. Where I think on Shark Tank, you wouldn't have had the shark. They would have just been like, I don't like the name, I'm not investing. You know, where this was different. We're partnering and we're making sure we have the perfect name, that kids like it, that adults like it, that people understand it. It speaks to what it is, but it doesn't exclude people. So I think that's kind of a big difference, is JT's much more involved, where I think a shark is not as involved in the business.
All right. Okay. So we'll just answer the last few questions and then we'll just end this broadcast. Jivan Jot said, what if you have customers that doesn't pay for your products on time? What will you do?
I mean, I think once you give people, you have to set the expectation from the start. And if you say, okay, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that people take advantage of. So I think you need to be very clear with your expectations from the start. But once you give people this, they take this, and then it goes on and on. So set the expectation, and you may have to send them a legal letter. And but once people start getting over 30 days, they really catch up.
Awesome. Okay. So, okay, someone asked a funny question. Do you like corn dogs? Maybe the two of you can answer that.
I mean,
they're not gluten-free.
They are actually. There are corn dogs that are gluten-free. I had them 2 weeks ago.
There?
My cheat meal for the week. They were very good. So not healthy every day.
Okay, so for those of you who have not filled up the application form, make sure you fill that up right now. This is the link to fill up. You'll see this thing called Next Level with JT. So this is an application form to apply for the opportunity partner with JT Foxx. It is free to apply, okay? Completely free to apply. And after filling up this form, you'll get a link to book a free consult with JT's right-hand man, Coach Reggie. And then Coach Reggie will dive deep with you about your business. And if he likes what he hears, you'll be able to speak with JT Foxx and his team individually. Okay, one tip, for those of you already applied, right? Make sure you prepare your sales pitch to Reggie. Like, make sure you sell him why, or make sure you convince him why he should allow you to talk to JT Foxx. Okay, and even if you're not chosen by Coach Reggie to speak with JT Foxx, you'll still get value anyway. And I would encourage 100% of you, everyone on this call right now, okay, take the next 5 minutes, open a new tab, and apply, no matter how small the chances are, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And if you don't even try, there's a 0% chance you will get it. Okay, believe in yourself and give it a shot. The reason why we are doing this is because of the coronavirus. We realize that while it might seem like a threat to some, it is actually a huge opportunity for you if you know how to capitalize on it. So if you want an opportunity to partner up with a $100 million business partner, fill out the form now. Okay, so everyone just go and fill out the form now. We'll give you a bit of time to do so. And I mean, the worst thing that will happen.
Free corn dog and nuggets for anybody who fills out.
Yeah. So make sure you go and fill up the form right now.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and if anyone, okay, so Jivan Jot said he's already applied. And don't worry about, no matter how small your business is, I think even if if they don't have a business, should they still apply? JT, if they don't have a business at all, but they are super committed and
if they're committed, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a different alternative for them as well to get them started. So one step at a time.
Each call I have, each session that I have, I don't go in with, you know, what am I going to do with this person? I want to talk to the person and get an idea of the way they think. And again, it's all about the person. And if you have what it takes to really make it happen, or maybe you have an idea or whatever the case may be, we'll talk about it. Again, the worst case scenario, you'll get a couple of nuggets, and that's it. But take action throughout the form. Keep your appointment. If you have to reschedule your appointment, I would appreciate it if you would do that, because if you take someone's spot and if you don't show up, then it's kind of a wasted spot. So.
Okay, we good?
All right.
Okay, wait. There's two last questions. Can we end last two questions? Okay. So from Willem Bell, how will you balance between sending a legal letter versus finding out exactly why your customers are not paying you on time, solving a problem with a win-win solution out?
Well, you're sending the legal letter after you've talked to them and not paid, and they didn't do what they said. So it's like, why are you not paying? What can you do? What guarantees you could do? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll pay you. And then they don't pay. I mean, legal is always the last resort, of course. But usually you're not just, you send a legal letter. It's basically as a result of multiple tries.
All right. And last question from Valerie. My business is providing employers with domestic helpers. How can I have a profitable business while doing charity?
I have a client that has similar type of business. But the point is, I think first you need to focus on the business and growing the business. I think a charity is something else you do. I wouldn't mix charity and business together, because usually those are business that don't end up making. So focus on the end result first. Awesome.
Vincent asked, what are your retirement plans? And then this will be the last question. Yeah. What are your retirement plans, JT Foxx? What are your retirement plans?
It's a very Singaporean thing to talk about retirement. If you love what you do, you never retire. This pandemic, the months that we were shut down, we couldn't go anywhere. Why in the world would anybody retire? When you're in control of your business, when you're a deal maker, you don't retire. You keep doing deals. Why? Tell me who's a multimillionaire or a billionaire or someone with $100 million retirement. Retirement is something of a job, what they say. When you retire, your mind retires and then you die. If you love what you do, it's never work. It's game.
All right. Sounds good. Everyone, make sure you go to ALARIC.SITE/JT. I want 100% of you, all 119 of you right now still on this live call to fill up this form. Anyone who's commented, make sure you fill out the form. If you haven't filled out the form, it's just dumb not to fill out the form, okay? When I saw the opportunity that JT was doing this, and he only started this like 1 month ago, like giving this opportunity away, not giving away, but like opening up this opportunity, I immediately applied. So make sure you apply as well. Okay, go to ALARIC.SITE/JT, and we're gonna end today's broadcast. I'll see you all. Bye-bye.
Guys. Pleasure meeting you. Add me on social media. Connect with me. Let me know what you thought. JT Foxx Official.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you JT's Instagram. Let me see. Okay, this is JT's Instagram. If you Instagram.com/JTFoxOfficial. Okay, and you can find him on Facebook, add him on social media. All right, take care, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Bye-bye. And make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, and this my Facebook profile. Okay, yeah. All right, take care.